So this is what you get when you have a walled city. These are just some old cannons, just hanging out by the walls in case there's some invaders.
All city residents have to go through training to know how to operate them.
There's also ice all down this stone wall from the rain and all the snow as well. So it's our last morning in Quebec City. We are getting on a flight this afternoon, and we're just taking a walk around, killing time before we have to go to the airport. And we noticed there's lots of ice. We know because it was raining the other day, and they get lots of snow and ice here. But like, look at this pipe. I don't know if you can see that. It's like covered in ice all the way up to the top. And there's a downspout behind us. Same thing. It's just like there's ice everywhere. That's gonna be a nightmare when spring comes and it all starts to melt. Also, they tend to not do a lot of shoveling. So you get a lot of just like patchy, slushy ice, and they just throw salt on it so it gets all wet like this. And then they have these very steep streets that seem a little treacherous to walk down in this type of ice. This is the street.
And I would say this one is clear and good.
Yeah, this one's actually not bad. We are at a cafe called Neely on Saint Louis, Rue Saint Louis. And we are going to have coffee, and I'm going to have a crepe because yesterday we had crepes and they were delicious, but they were savory crepes, which are also really good, but I kind of just wanted a sweet crepe, and I didn't get one yesterday because we were too full by the time we finished our savory crepes. So I'm going to try a sweet crepe with maple syrup today, just like I like to make at home. And we are having coffee while we wait. We're probably going to eat something bigger at the airport because we'll have time to kill there too. So this is what they do in this area, is they'll just block off the sidewalk with these pylons or with a rope or something. They'll have a guy standing down here making sure you don't walk under it, and then they just like shovel off the roofs and pick off the ice. So we're at the Quebec City airport waiting for our flight to Montreal, and this airport's very small. So I would say it's smaller than the Edmonton airport. There's not a ton of stuff. There was a Tim Hortons before you go through security, and then there's like a Starbucks, and there was like a couple of little restaurant cafe things kind of just in the middle of the gates, and there's like a magazine store, and maybe we passed one store that might have been duty free, but it was closed. It doesn't matter because we can't get duty free anyway. So yeah, we have like an hour and a half to kill before we board, and then we have like 3 hours in Montreal. So we're looking for something to do.
It's ruined my shoes.
Yeah, look at that.
I'm gonna try to clear all that salt off when I get home.
In Alberta, we don't use that much salt. We use more gravel, and just because the roads and the sidewalks are so slushy and they use so much salt, our shoes are looking a little worse for wear. Mine aren't as bad, but Mike's are kind of wrecked. I think the language wasn't a problem for us. Most people speak English, but I would say that the one thing is I maybe would have wanted to practice a little bit more of my French, but as soon as someone figured out you weren't French speaking, they just talked to you in English after that. So
they made your life almost too easy.
Yeah, like it would have almost been better if we could have sort of muddled through some of the French. But I think that's probably they get a lot of, especially during popular times like Carnival, they probably get a lot of tourists from the US and other parts of Canada, and so they just are used to it, and they're just like, they'll be like, oh, English, and then they'll just continue in English. And so sometimes you kind of wanted to almost use some of your French, but if you're not fluent enough to be able to speak rapidly to them, then they just start speaking English to you. So, and you felt a little bit silly trying to speak French back to them because you felt like they were almost like, why are you even trying? It's walkable. The city is quite walkable. And it was cold, but it wasn't terrible cold. There was the lady at our hotel when we were checking out. She said, oh, sorry, the weather was so bad for you while you were here. And I said, oh, it's not that bad. We come from Alberta, so we're used to winter. And she's like, oh, but it's not this cold. And I had to break it to her that actually right now, colder in Alberta. So we're actually going home to colder temperatures than we're leaving. At least we could walk around. It was probably hovered around -10. Today I think was -14. I think when we first arrived it was above 0, but it was very windy, so that made it feel colder. But really I wore long johns every day, and I had my parka, and you have to have mitts because the wind makes your hands really cold, and a hat. And Mike had snow pants and just his regular clothes and a big jacket. And he was wearing shoes almost the whole time, and I think it was fine.
Yep.
So we found this weird thing at the airport that lets you clean your glasses for $2. I've never seen this anywhere else. So it's $2, and then according to the video, which you probably can't see because they're reflections, you just put your glasses in this machine, and then it cleans them. And you can get like a card to do it, I don't know, 20 times or something. So if you needed to clean your glasses every time you saw one of these machines, which I've literally never seen before. Okay, so we're in the Montreal airport, and they have the weirdest thing ever. We saw it on our way down, so now we have some time to kill, so I thought I would take a video. Look at this thing. Its name is Pepper. Hello?
Maybe you gotta address them by name. You gotta say, hey, Pepper.
Hey, Pepper. Pepper's unimpressed with us. Look at this. What does this thing do? It says it's the host. Okay. Pepper is the host. Okay, bye, Pepper.
1-3.
So we think Pepper might be broken because clearly it's just staring at us, like moving its fingers.
Yeah, you can't even discipline a robot when he doesn't do what he's supposed to at work. So I don't know how they deal with that.
And it sort of looked up at you like, "What do you want from me?" And we're like, "I don't know. What do you do, Pepper?"
We saw him interacting with a kid earlier when we were on our way through here last time, and he was interacting with people. So
Maybe he's broken or
he's
sleepy.
just glitching.
I don't know. Tried to touch his iPad, nothing happened. So I don't know. He said he was the host. Good thing we weren't trying to eat there.